Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the trading stream here at Sin City Crypto. My name is David. A little bit of a different look today. I was held captive at the studio till about 2 o'clock. And so I had to push the stream back. Unacceptable. It's all Robin's fault. We can blame him. Feel free to hassle him in the chat if he shows up. All jokes aside, though, today I am in the studio, those of you that are familiar with our AM stream. And so I didn't want to miss a trading show, especially after last week with the internet issues. So, you know what? Instead of driving all the way home, setting up there, I'm just going to do it from the studio. So here we are, bringing you the charts, the trades, making money. We're down a little bit on our Bitcoin short trade. I'll go over all of that on today's stream. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. Happy April Fool's Day. Hopefully none of you got fooled. Also, I'm curious, what is your best April Fool's story? Put it in the chat. I have a funny one, and I might share that with you. Also, we'll be doing the scalp my portfolio again. When we'll check in on the trade yesterday, the scalp. If you guys remember, the portfolio we picked, we decided to scalp, or I decided to scalp, theta at 80 cents. And honestly, I haven't even looked at that chart, but we'll take a look at it today. And so with that being said, make sure to like the video. Big thank you to the mods, and let's jump in to the coin market cap. So 85.1 for BTC. Now, I did have a short that got filled on a limit order. I think it was like 83.9 or 83.6. I did expect the previous swing high for us to fail again and come into maybe a cup and handle pattern, and we can talk about it through our chart here for BTC. And also, another thing that I really thought we were going to reject off of was this POC. Now, this range is from the 27th of February through the 31st of March. And you can see our point of control sits right at 83,000. We'll call it $83,880. You had your previous swing high sitting at that level also. And so I thought we were definitely going to get a rejection right at that 83.7, 83.8. And we take a look at the trade we are currently in right now. We are in the red for BTC, but we did make some money on a couple of other trades, and I'll share those with you guys just in case you missed the morning show. But right now, we are in the red on our BTC short. Now, I do have a stop loss set at 86,200. I feel like that is where we will get invalidated. But looking at this chart, might have to think about closing that position altogether. Now, for BTC, let me drop the fixed range volume profile. Now with BTC, this is on the 4-hour, by the way. We had this massive rising channel that broke to the downside, and then we came into kind of this falling wedge pattern that did break to the upside. We had a perfect retest that happened in a little golden zone here between 82.3 and 82.6. We got a beautiful bounce, and since that bounce, Bitcoin has gained around 3.62%. And again, 83.8 or 83.8, which is the wick up here. I thought we were going to get rejected. Obviously, I was wrong. But what we're seeing from BTC now, potentially, is a formation of a good friend of the channel. It's his favorite pattern, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The old Sammy cup and handle pattern, taking that high we had back on the 28th of March before Bitcoin essentially spilled off, consolidated a little bit, and then flushed down to that sub 82K level on a wick. Now, the handle part is where we're trying to form now. Now, the important thing here is going to be, let me get rid of this. The important thing here is going to be, we want to stay above 84.1. When we come back down and we start to form that handle, we want to stay above 84.1. So I will be looking at 84,100. Now, again, on this trade I have here, my stop loss is 86.2, which is below this important resistance level that I've had on here for quite a while. But to close the trade out completely and take a complete L on it, which sometimes you do, I want to see what Bitcoin does at 84,000, because if we come down to 84K and we kind of create this handle part of the cup and handle, and we take a bounce and we see some nice volume coming. You see this volume here? This volume we saw on this candle that broke through our POC from that fixed volume range we had. And I can throw that back on there so you guys can get a better visual representation. Our POC, that candle that took us through that POC and close, we saw increased volume, which really gave me the confidence to say, look, This move is real. It's not a fake out. I know it's April Fool's Day, but that to me was like, you know what? Maybe that short was a bad trade. I should have reevaluated it. Either way, no one's perfect. You're not going to hit all your trades as long as you hit more than you lose, or your ROI is greater than how many trades you lose. And so what we want to see for BTC here, what I'm looking for is a retest of 84K, but I'm also going to be looking at volume, and I'll be looking at my market cipher B. What are we seeing? Money flow has officially turned green on the 4-hour time frame on market cipher B. We can even zoom out to the 8-hour. We have green on the 8-hour, and on the daily, we are still red in the money flow, but you can see the stochastic oscillator and the RSI are both pointing up, and you can see it's a nice big green candle on the daily. So again, how am I playing this out? I am looking for a bounce at 84.1. Now, if 84.1 fails, then I'm pretty comfortable with my short. Then we come back and retest this 82 to 82.5 region, which at that point, this trade would be in the money. Now, that's one trade. We actually made money on two other trades, and I'll show you guys. The first one was this XLM long that I entered in the live show in the morning yesterday. We closed that out for a 38% profit. That was $385, so not too shabby for a half a day's of work. And then ICP, we saw a inverted head and shoulders on the ICP. I believe it was the 20-minute chart. And we also had we had a green dot on market cipher B. And so that was our trigger to enter into a long trade. And that worked out fairly well, up 33%. We closed that trade out for a profit of around $662. If you want to get some of those trading signals that I kind of showed you guys, highly recommend you go over to Discord and then just join our Discord. That link is in the description of the video. And when you get to the Discord on this welcome server here, click get VVIP access. And all you got to do is create an account on BuyDeFi with our link, deposit $100 for yourself to trade, and then put in your UID here. And you'll have access to all these channels, the VIP chat, the trades that we are putting in, and kind of our signals. But also, you'll get swing and scalp signals from the top traders on BuyDeFi. You'll also get market analysis and updates as well. And so it's really, you don't pay Sin City Crypto anything. In fact, you just fund your own account to trade with, and you get access to all of that. And so big shout out to BuyDeFi. They are our preferred exchange of choice to trade on, but we do have some other links in the description. If you would rather go with something like MEXC, totally fine. That is going to be in the description of the video. So again, for BTC, it's a wait and see. We can even zoom into the 1 hour. Take a look at the 1 hour showing us. Let's get rid of this ugly ass. Let's get rid of this ugly ass. You know, guys, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I've had like this sinusitis shit for, God, man, like feels like forever. And so I'm sitting there Googling, like, how long does this thing last? Because like my voice is breaking and I just quit vaping. But either way, it's an intro into my personal life. Let me get rid of this. And so again, even on the lower time frames, we can pop open market cipher B and take a look if we're seeing any signals here. And so we're about to get another crossover on the VWAP to the 0 line. RSI and stochastics are trending up. We did get a red dot on the momentum wave in market cipher B. So again, this could be playing into our potential handle of our cup and handle pattern. Again, on the 4 hour, 84.1 is going to be very important. If we get a bounce at 84.1, I'm looking along this thing, and the measured move, if this pans out like we think it is, the measured move for this cup and handle pattern would be, and we can assume that we get our breakout from, let's say, the 84.1 level. You're looking at a pushback up to around $87,750 for BTC. 87,821, that is a level we'll be looking at, taking our at least our first TP levels, our take profit levels for BTC. So that is Bitcoin. And again, very surprising that we got this move up in BTC. And I was looking at the dominance as well. Dominance is continuing to grind up. And we zoom into the weekly, or zoom out to the weekly, excuse me. This thing has really been up and to the right since November of 2022 when the crypto market bottomed. And so we want our altcoin portfolios to grow in value, and we want to make money. We need Bitcoin dominance to fall. And so this key resistance level right around 61.82%, that failed to the upside, which typically, beating out a resistance level is usually a good thing. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin dominance, if you're a big altcoin holder, like I am, I'm a very big altcoin holder. But as you guys know, if you've been watching our show, majority of my portfolio is anchored in Bitcoin. So this is not the worst thing for me, but obviously my higher risk plays are going to be in altcoins. And I'm sure a lot of you watching are in the same boat. With that being said, I'm going to take a quick peek at the chat, see what you guys are up to. If you're new, welcome, say hello. Also make sure to hit the like button. No club. We are not opening the club. It's just me. I'm a one-man show, baby. I don't have the wherewithal. Poman, Jay Violet, Rusty Bob, what's going on? Daniel Goodman, how you doing, my friend? Jay Violet, I know she was a little upset. We pushed back the stream time, but Jay Violet, I'm happy to see you in here. Welcome back. French Toaster, Blue Man Music. Eugene said, need that dominance to hit 70% before it'll fall. Let's take a look at the last cycle, okay? So last cycle, let's look at December 20 through January of 2021. Bitcoin dominance peaked at 73.65%. That was the top, and then we fell off. That is where we had our first altcoin rally, and then Bitcoin dominance started trending back up. Although we remained kind of flat and kind of range bound. Can drop some horizontal lines here for you guys so you get a better visual representation. We're kind of trading in this channel for the Bitcoin dominance, and let's change the color of this to blue. So we were kind of range bound up until, of course, FTX crashed. Bitcoin's bottom for the dominance was around 39.16%. But yeah, Eugene, I don't know if 73% is the number. It could very well be. But just the idea would have been that we get diminishing highs on Bitcoin dominance, right? You look at 2017, 96%. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen. I am so sorry. Okay, at my house, I have my studio set up in front of me so I can see. Here, I don't have it. But anyways, what I was talking about was going back in 2021, we had our first peak of the Bitcoin. Well, the first peak back in, 2020 to 2021 was around 73.42%. And then we had that spill off, and we kind of were range bound from around May 20 of 2021 through, I'd say, March of 2023. And then since then, it's just been a grind up. Now, the question is, my friend, I think it was Eugene. Was it Eugene? Yeah, it was Eugene. He said, we need to get to 73%. Now, the idea is, as the markets mature and you get more like crypto assets in there, Bitcoin's dominance shouldn't be 80% over a 10, 20, $30 trillion market cap or a market because of what we expect blockchain to do. We talk about it's going to replace finance and stable coins and RWAs and AI and gaming. Well, Bitcoin does none of that, right? And for it to garner 80% of a market, I would not look at it as a good thing. That means the altcoins are failing, the technology is failing, and adoption is failing. Because if the adoption actually happens, to me, there's no way we get back to like 75 to 80% dominance in BTC over a longer time period. So the idea is we see diminishing returns on peaks of these dominance levels. And so the last peak was 73.5. If we get to 73.5 again, I'll be extremely surprised. I'll be very honest with you. I'll be very surprised. It's not something I want to see because, again, my portfolio is anchored in Bitcoin, but a lot of my big plays are in alts. And so I don't want Bitcoin dominance to go up to 75, 80%. But it could be a very well possibility. This is a cycle that, sure, there's similarities to previous cycles, but we don't really, it's not the same. It's really not. It's institution driven, not retail driven like we've seen. And institutions, they're telling you, we prefer Bitcoin. We prefer Bitcoin. This was our first sign of altcoin markets running, where Bitcoin got down to 55%. And then we saw a shot back up. And again, we should see a bounce at like 61.7. But either way, so to answer your question, I don't know if we get to 75 again. If we do, a lot of us are in big trouble as far as our portfolios if we're heavy in altcoins. And so, yeah. Robin was trying to convince me that spending $22 on 12 waters was a good idea. And I was like, you're crazy, bro. This is some pretty good damn water. Shout out to Mountain Valley, who did not sponsor today's show. We take a look at the rest of the markets. Ethereum seeing a really nice bounce. I actually have, I'm going to show you guys. I have my stop loss order there, but I also have a limit order on an ETH long, $1,766. That is my limit price on ETH. And we can actually pull up an Ethereum chart. Now, ETH is so easy to dunk on, right? And rightfully so. The performance has been absolute shit. And this is ETH on the week, and I have this volume range pulled out. This is from March of 2023. We did it, looks like, through August of 2023. And the zone, you can see our POC from that fixed volume range. We lost it, but we're looking to reclaim it. This is on the higher time frame as well for ETH. Lots of sellers stepped in at that POC at around 1891. But if you zoom in to the lower time frames for ETH, and we can get rid of this VRVP, or we can get rid of this fixed volume range profile here for ETH. Like this, these are signs of reversals, right? You got a double bottom, and the last time, again, the two times the price has come down to the 1770 to 1750 range, ETH has bounced very nicely. The last time, on March 11th, we saw a 17% rally from Ethereum. And more recently, just this past Sunday, so far, we've had an 8% rally in the price of ETH. And so to me, is a very high conviction trade to just put in a limit order for ETH at $1,770, set it and forget it, and take your 15% multiplied by your leverage, and you'll be able to make some money that way. Now, let's take a look at market side for B. What are we seeing? We did see a green dot here. We are seeing the bearish momentum start to lose a little bit. As you can see, the momentum waves are getting shallower. Money flow is still red, but the RSI and the stochastics, they are pointing up. And so we are seeing a decent volume on ETH here on the daily. We can even zoom into the hourly chart, see if we can find any patterns here. Another potential cup and handle here for ETH, just like we saw with BTC. There's your cup and coming back to our handle. Now we got to identify, where does the handle stop, right? And let's do this. Let's keep that. Let's get rid of this. And let's figure out, where are we going to get our entry for ETH? So the first level I'm looking at immediately, and I'll just drop a line here, is going to be right here at around 1886. That was our last high we had. Now we are making higher lows and higher highs on ETH. So that was the last high we had. That was back just about an hour and 45 minutes ago. Now remember, this is on the 1 hour time frame. So the first level I've been looking at a bounce for ETH would be 1886. Now for this pattern to get invalidated, we do not want to cross below $1,859. If we do, then this pattern, for me at least, will be invalidated. You also do have a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders that you can see already broke out. There's your shoulder, there's your head, and there's your shoulder. There was your neckline. Terrible neckline. Let's try that again. I don't know why I try to freehand this thing. There's literally like indicators for all of it. So there is your neckline. Much better. You can see we almost came back to retest on a wick, but we didn't quite get there. And this broke to the upside. Now, again, the larger kind of pattern that we're seeing here is going to be that cup and handle. We want to come back. We want to find some support at 1885 and then off to the races. Now, this measured move for ETH would be, and let's measure the depth of our cup here. We like deep cups, big cups. Big cups are good. They're good cups. The most beautiful cups I've ever seen. 2K. 2K, baby. Look at that. And 2K is where ETH really consolidated for a while. Let's do this actually. Let's go from here to here. You can see that range, that POC was sitting right at $1,882. And again, we blew through that with volume. You see that? You see that volume spike? That is the exact candle that we really blew through that POC. And that range was pretty important. This was from the 18th of March through the 27th of March. That is where ETH was kind of trading around that 2K level. It didn't want to give it up, but it gave it up. Then it took it back. Then it gave it up. It had a nice rally up to like 2,100. And then ultimately the price failed. So I'm looking for a lot of longs here in the markets. Now, of course, please keep in mind, tomorrow is a big day. It's Liberation Day. There should be volatility in the markets. But then again, last night I was at my computer. I saw the 3-month treasury spike. I saw the 6-month treasury spike. And I saw the 1-year and the 2-year treasury spike. I was like, what is going on? Because these are like 12 to 15% spikes. Not very normal. And I was like, okay, tomorrow, not tomorrow, but the day, the next day, April 2nd, it's going to be the tariff day. What's going on? Is liquidity drying up? Are they about to print a shitload of more money? Are the markets going to spill off? Then I plotted a Bitcoin chart against it, which actually I can probably, I think I have it. Let's take a look, see if I could pull that chart back up. This was under macro. This was the 3-month. Is this the 3-month? That's the 1-year, 2-month. There we go. This is a 3-month here. Go to the daily. Oh, there we go. You saw that massive, you see this massive spike here in the 3-year treasury. And then I had a BTC chart plotted on here as well, which will do it right now. And you can see the correlation. Anytime you saw kind of this treasury stabilize, you saw Bitcoin. It was a precursor to Bitcoin rallying, right? And anytime we saw the treasury start to rise, as we see back here from really 2022 on, that's when Bitcoin hit its bear market. I'm not saying it's 100% the reason why, but still, there's some correlation there. Now, the funny thing is, I went back and looked at like the Dow, the NASDAQ. They actually rallied when the 3-month treasury had a spike in percentage, but not Bitcoin. And so we'll see what happens. So that kind of spooked me yesterday. There's just a lot of, and this is just me not being on Wall Street. I'm not a hedge fund. I don't have billions of dollars. It's just one person who understands the basics of the markets and has been doing this for a very long time. But the people that do this day in and day out with hundreds of billions of dollars, can you imagine what they're doing? The programs they're running, right? And what they're trying to figure out, what can we expect from the markets? I was expecting today to be a down day. It was a negative day. And so I'll just caution you, we're looking for longs, but just be careful. There's going to be a lot of volatility. We should see a spike in the VIX tomorrow. And on top of that, you should see more announcements from other presidents. Some of them will say we're dropping tariffs and Trump will drop tariffs. Some of them say, screw you, we're adding tariffs. And then you get into this trade war. And so there's going to be a lot of uncertainty in the market. And we know traders do not like uncertainty in the markets. All right, I'm going to take a quick pause from the chart and take a look at, David almost swore. If you guys only knew how I sound without the camera. All right, I'm just going to take a peek at the chat here. Can you take a look at Sweet? Yeah, look at Sweet. 6 of us got together. We can use Grok. You're a goddamn animal now. Just put me down. You're doing great. What? What kind of comment is that? Yay, we liberated from our gains. Yeah, we're getting liberated from our gains for sure. WD-40 needs to be involved. I don't even want to know what the hell you guys are talking about. Yeah, I don't know what kind of conversation you guys are having here. I see soccer, I see WD-40, and I see doing homework. So a very interesting conversation. All right, let's take a peek. So I wanted to kind of go over this Hedera chart here, and then we'll take a peek at SWI. If I forget, just remind me, my friend. Also, I got an update on D-King. Those of you that hold D-King, you're gonna want to wait because it's a pretty big announcement, and of course, there it is. Okay, we'll keep that there for now. Now, we did do a Hedera chart earlier today, and a Hedera video earlier today. So if you haven't watched that, please go do so. But on Hedera, what I mapped out here was a bullish divergence on the daily for H-bar. But if we zoom into the 4-hour, I believe it was a 4-hour. Let's throw on this head and shoulders here. I believe it might have been the 1 hour. No, it was the 4-hour. So this potential pattern coming into play here, and I'll get rid of that, is an inverse head and shoulders. Okay, so as you can see here, we have our left shoulder made a lower high. We come in another lower high with the head, and then we're about to put in a higher high, or we're kind of putting it in now. So this could very well look something like this. This could be a super tight right shoulder, or we can see a retracement back down to our key level we have mapped out for H-bar, which is around 16.11 cents. It would be a higher low, which would not invalidate. Now, if we get below 15.72 cents, then we're looking at invalidation of this potential inverse head and shoulders pattern for H-bar. But if we can get a bounce anywhere above that, whether it's the last high we had at around 16.5 cents, or if it's this key support level at around 16.12 cents, either way, this is setting up for a really, really nice entry on a breakout and retest of this inverse head and shoulders pattern. Now, if you want to try to firm run this pattern, which I don't like to do, but sometimes I get itchy fingers, we all do. Preparation H for itchy fingers. It works. Trust me. Been there before. If you want to pull the trigger, you can wait for the retest, whether it's at 16.1 or even that last high we had, which again was at 16 and a half cents. You can try to firm run this thing and hope it plays out. But again, something happens, it gets invalidated, you lose money. Or what I'd recommend is, sure, you'll lose a little bit of the gains percentage-wise, but you want to wait for the retest, whether it's here or whether it's up here. We creep back up to the neckline, we break above, and then on this retest is where you want to enter. So that entry is going to be anywhere between 17 and a half to 17.75 cents. Now, of course, if this shoulder pattern or if this inverse head and shoulders pattern gets invalidated, then it's going to mean nothing. But that is where I'm going to be looking at entry and for this H-bar trade. And then the profit target or the measured move would be breakout from the neckline. You're looking at a push above. Now, this would be very important. This 19 cent area, you can see how important this area has been for H-bar. Unfortunately, we did lose it after a few retests as support. We will come back above this value area that we've identified for H-bar, which is going to be your shaded rectangle box here. That will push us to that 19.5/20 cent level for H-bar. And then we talk about structure changes in the market, right? We're going to zoom into the daily. And actually, the one bearish thing I did see on the H-bar chart. Let's see, where are you? Here. The one bearish thing I did see on the H-bar chart, which we'll see what happens, is we broke below our 200-day moving average and we failed on a retest. So it's not a good sign at all. But we can look back and this just could be a blip, just like we saw here. This was back on the April of 2024. So exactly 1 year ago today, we saw a break below. Now, the difference here was, and I'll zoom in so you guys can see, we did not make a close below our last band on our 200-day moving average. We wicked down there a few times, but we did not close below. Here, current price, we've gotten not just one close below, but multiple closes below. Now, this could all be invalidated. Robin just can't help himself. Hi, Rob. This could potentially be invalidated, but we need to make these pushes up. And if we get that breakout from that inverse head and shoulders and we take out that level, you'll be trading well above your 200-day moving average for H-bar. And so that is what we're looking for H-bar. Longer time frame, we need to reclaim the 200-day moving average. And the prices we're looking at for that is $17.50, $18.50, and $19.50 for H-bar. So that's what we're looking at. With that being said, take a quick break, take a sip of water, take a look at my homies in the chat. Big Rob. We're back at 40 cents next week.
I'm back, bro.
Robin's back. Oh, hey, Robin, thanks for hijacking my stream. How you doing, man?
Freed up my schedule, so
Good to see you.
I just stopped by the studio
You
again.
just missed me, huh?
Yeah, I mean, keep doing your thing, bro. Keep doing
Is
your
it real bad or what?
thing. Yeah, I'm good.
April Fools, mother.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Let's take a look at SWE. I know, I forget who was in there that wanted to take a peek at SWE. Let's pull up the SWE chart. Now, one thing to keep in mind, today was the unlock for SWE. And so I did a case study on this for SWE, and this is just the chart that I already had on here. And you can see here this rising channel. And we almost invalidated. We broke below, and now we're looking to retest, and we're failing. And this is on the daily time frame. You see that rejection at that 200 AMA. We can look at market cipher B on the 1 hour. Looks like we're about to get a crossover on our VWAP. That would be good. And actually, looking at this now, this is on the daily. We had actually an entry here. That's your anchor wave and that's your trigger wave. So that would be your entry there. I always like to test it out, right? So your entry would have been at $2.30, which you would have made some really good money because you got up to $2.84. But for SWE, a lot of people, they kind of get spooked out by the narrative of, oh, they're releasing X amount of tokens. It's like 2.2% of their market cap. It's all going to the investors. Let me sell, but very rarely does the price dump. You'll see the price start to dump leading into here, leading into the token unlock, going back to the 27th. And then we can even look at this together. Here, let's do that. Let's look at SWE together. April, so the first of every single month is when they have their unlocks, okay? So let's take a look at what price does prior to the first of every month. So we already identified the March or the April one. So we go back to towards the end of February. This is February 23rd through February 28th. We saw the price dip and a bounce. We go back to the end of January leading into February. This is January 25th through the end of January. Prices dip, then we see a rally. Prices dip, we see a rally. Prices dip, we see a rally. Now, these rallies are not sustained. They're very small because of the overall sentiment of the market. So this is not something that I'm looking to really trade unless we catch support at a key level here for SWE, and we can actually get rid of all these ugly brush lines, go away, beautiful. And then we can zoom into maybe the lower time frame, see if we can snipe out any patterns here. This is a very stair-steppy chart. Right? You have a big move, a little bit of downside, 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 and now we're going to get another big move here. That trend line, though, one thing to keep in mind, the one thing I love about my mouse at home is I can have that click on the right side and it gives me the undo. I don't have to go back. But the one thing, we attempted to come back into this rising channel here, and we failed. We failed. And so I'd be cautious with a long here because really your spread, if you do believe we're going to get it rejected here at around $2.46, your spread to make money is not that high. And so your risk to reward becomes, unless I'm doing 50x leverage, how am I going to make money on a move from $2.43 to $2.46? And so this would have been a really nice retest. A great entry would have been around $2.45. If we would have gotten that bounce, but we didn't, we fell through. But we fell through on decreasing volume. And so what you're starting to see here as well, the trends. On these big moves up, you're seeing increasing volume. On the big moves down, you're seeing decreasing volume, right? You take a look here. And these are 1 hour candles. You see volume increasing into this move. We get stopped out right around $2.49. And then on the way down, you see these large body candles, but the volume is dropping. And so the bears are starting to lose momentum, but we're still the macro. And I keep saying this, and I will continue to keep saying it. There's a reason for it. Macro matters. If macro is scared, it's going to be very hard to get any sort of sustained momentum with these big moves to the upside. Also, one thing to keep in mind with SWE, at least on the 1 hour, you're coming into this rising channel, kind of rising wedge here. And so these do typically break to the downside, as you can see here on the larger scale here, a big flip to the downside. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, where can we catch support on SWE? Let's go ahead and draw some fibs here. And let's get rid of that. And let's draw a fib. This move here. So wick to wick. So your 50% level sitting right around $2.35. And we already got a wick down here. And it was really the final pullback before we pushed up back into that pattern. Well, your golden pocket here is sitting right between $2.30 and $2.31.6. That is your golden pocket, your 6, 5, and 618 levels. So that is where we've caught support as well. But you can see we've really caught support at every key level. Caught support at the 50 level. We caught support in the golden pocket. We've also caught support at our 786 levels. So I'd be interested to see what price does. I don't want to long at 235. I'll be more than happy to long between 230 and 231 for SWE. Obviously, dependent on other factors. We'll look at market cipher B. We can work our way to the higher time frames as well when the time comes. So for now, for me, if you're really itching for a trade, I would potentially look for a short to get rejected here on $2.48. Come back, say your first TP at this 50-cent level, at this 50% retracement level, which is around $2.36. Maybe do a 0.25% or half of your position, close it out. And the rest are your short. I close it out before we hit $2.30, which again, that is your golden pocket. And we do expect to see a bounce from there. So for SWE, I'd be looking for more of a short. But again, you want the absolute best price. Wait for it to push back up to try to reclaim this trend line, which it did, but got rejected and fell back through. What else? I was looking at Chainlink as well. You know, the big news from Chainlink, partnership with Hedera. Again, we did do a video on that. So if you haven't watched our Hedera video, go watch it, whether you're a Hedera or a Chainlink bull. It's a good video. I had some TA in there as well. But again, similar to what we see in really everything, just kind of this, I am so bad at drawing. Jesus Christ. Okay. We saw, man, my son, if he saw my drawings here, I don't know if, there we go. So you have these kind of rising channels that eventually break to the downside. And you can see perfect bounce at our golden pocket. That would have been a perfect entry here on Chainlink to put in a long position. Now, I think on the lower time frame, what I saw on Chainlink as well was a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern on Link. Let's take a peek there. Let's get rid of those. Yeah. There's your left shoulder. There's your head. There's your right shoulder, and we already got our breakout. There's your neckline. Breakout to the upside. Come back to that 50% retracement level. Push back up and come back down. Now, I would be looking. Now, a high conviction long for me would be to catch Chainlink back at this golden pocket one more time, which you can see when we broke through with volume. And you know what's funny is I never used to pay attention to volume like I do, I don't know, over the last like 2 years. Volume would always be like, oh, it's got a lot of volume. But I think to really identify, especially in crypto, to really identify, is this a move that's going to sustain, or is this something I probably should have a tighter TP and a tighter stop loss and its volume? And I look at key levels of a chart, and I look at this golden pocket here for Chainlink, and this move above it, we saw a spike in volume. And so you can never go wrong longing. Well, you can go wrong, but it's hard to go wrong longing the golden pocket. So for me, if I'm looking at, and you know what, let's actually do this in real time together with you on the stream. Let's go ahead and put in a limit long order for Link. This way, you don't got to worry about it. I'm going here. By the way, guys, if you have a Buy DeFi account, let me know what you guys think in the chat there. They've given away a lot of money to our people. And so big shout out to Buy DeFi. Great customer service. Love using these guys. They're awesome. Okay. So for Link, we identified our golden pocket as between 1330 and 1343. I'm going to take because I'm greedy, I'm going to take that 618 level at 1343. We're going to go 1343 and a half because we don't want to be like, oh, we just missed it. We can't enter. So 13.435. We're going to do, because we feel very good, we're going to do $2,500. We're going to make sure it is order by cost. Yes. Isolated 15x, limit order $13.43.5. On Chainlink, good to cancel. Long that sucker. Let's go. Now we have a few open orders. We have our Bitcoin. We have our Bitcoin stop loss on our short at 86.2. We have an ETH long open. Robin, you're listening. An ETH long open at 1766. And now we have a Chainlink limit long order open at a 15x leverage at $13.43, which again is our golden pocket. Yay. All right. Peeking into the chat. 63 likes, 90 people watching. Not bad on the like ratio. Good job, guys. I'm late. I'm close to starting a buy DeFi account. Adam, I recommend you do it, man. Just check it out. It's cool stuff. They give you 15% back on your deposit. Those guys are awesome. There is a link in the description. Now, once you do that, my friend, once you create your account, I want you to, and I'm going to paste the link here for you. I want you to join our Discord. If you're already in there, just click on get verified, get VVIP access in Discord, and then you'll be in our special Discord server for the traders. All right. I promised you I was going to talk about D-King. Let's talk about D-King. This has been one of my best plays. My D-King position and my profit taking, that has allowed me to pay my entire year's worth of bills with one trade. And so this is something that at the time, our Patreon members got at around a $2 to $3 million market cap. It is currently sitting at a $6 million market cap. So even after D-King absolutely has been drowning like everything else, you are still 2x in the profit. Now, this thing ran a 35-40 million. I didn't sell the exact top. I laddered out, but the profits I made were fairly healthy. But also, I left some behind. I still have, I think, like 35 or 40,000 tokens behind. And so, now why am I sharing this? Well, because if you are part of the D-King community, or you're in our Patreon and you got that call and you still have some D-King, they're giving away free NFTs to those who hold more than 10,000 D-King token. Oh, damn it. That is not the announcement. And so their terminal is going live. And to access the terminal, you're going to need an NFT or $1,000 a month. And well, if you hold 10,000 D-King tokens, there we go. If you hold 10,000 D-King tokens, to you, it's free. So it's a $12,000 a year deal. So if you held 10,000 D-King tokens during the snapshot, which was March 31st, or if you've contributed to D-King in other meaningful ways, you'll get an OG NFT, which will grant you access to their Terminal Pro. And guys, when I say this team has some deep roots and connections, you guys remember when Max was on the show, we talked about Crunch DAO, and look at this announcement. We improved the D-King AI model dramatically from V1 to V2, but for us, it was not enough. Leading DeFi requires an exceptional level of precision. As much as AI agents should be autonomous, our duty is to provide the best AI prediction models and strategy. To achieve this, we've brokered a partnership with my former company, Crunch DAO, to leverage its community of 8,000 machine learning engineers that will all compete against to make D-King's models the best in class and find the juiciest lines. When I was at Crunch, I saw this community outperform several hedge funds. If you guys are not familiar with Crunch DAO, I'd highly recommend you go Google it. 8,000 quants. We're talking billions of dollars. And so I am uber bullish on D-King, and off the news, it is up 10%. I think 6 million is criminally undervalued, especially after it got to $1.70. And so, yeah, not financial advice, but if you want an AI play with an amazing team that is building, we talk about this. What is the team doing? Are they building when the price is down? And when everyone is left, are they still building? Are they still putting resources towards their project? And if they are, and they're in a niche that you expect to grow and expand, then it is worth it to take a shot when it's 80% off its all-time high. And so I haven't added any, but if we get a dip back down to 5 million, I'll probably add another, 10 or 20K tokens. And so that's where I'm at. Again, I'm not telling you guys you should go out and buy this thing, but it's something I got my eye on that I'm super bullish on. All right, guys, that'll do it for the show today. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. Make sure, real quick, Adam said, I never sold D-King. If you got more than 10K, my friend, go join their Discord and then fill out that link. I will actually post it in here. Let me post their form link. And you guys know this is not a scam because it's me, I'm live. There you go. So there is the form. If you hold more than 10,000 D-King tokens, click that form, fill it out, And then you'll get your pass. You'll get a whitelist for the NFT. And then you'll have access to Terminal Pro. And we're talking about getting signals from an AI that literally watches the games in real time, finds arbitrage opportunities and discrepancies in the market lines, and it puts a bet in real time. It's pretty crazy. So anyways, thank you all so much. I love you guys. We will see you tomorrow morning for the live show. If you haven't watched our Hedera video, go do it. Support the channel. Love you guys. Until then.